Outline. Chosen One. You annihilated 1,000 demons all at once. Here is the outline for the script, based on the provided transcript. Intro. The revelation of an unseen battle. Asterisk. Opening statement. Introduce the concept that the viewer has unknowingly won a spiritual war and explain how it's connected to their recent exhaustion. Asterisk. Divine timing. Highlight the recent event that triggered panic among demonic forces, showing how the viewer's victory was both invisible and profound. Asterisk. Introduction to the battle. Explain how 1,000 demons attacked simultaneously and how the viewer annihilated them without consciously realizing they were in battle. Asterisk. The significance of exhaustion. The fatigue the viewer feels is a physical manifestation of their victory in the unseen spiritual battle. Section 1. The simultaneous attack and victory. Asterisk. The coordinated attack. Describe how demonic forces sent 1,000 specialized demons to break the viewer, each attack designed to weaken them in different ways. Asterisk. The battle's nature. Emphasize that the viewer was unaware of the battle as it happened, and how they unknowingly neutralized the attacks without drama or noticeable conflict. Asterisk. Why they failed. The demons' terror upon realizing the viewer's spiritual immunity attacks they had used for centuries failed against the viewer. Section 2. The specific attacks. Asterisk. Whispers of doubt. 100 demons tried to instill doubt and insecurity. The viewer neutralized them effortlessly. Asterisk. Amplifiers of fear. 200 demons attempted to amplify small worries into overwhelming panic, but the viewer's mind remained stable. Asterisk. Diversions of purpose. Another 200 demons attempted to lead the viewer away from their true mission, but the viewer rejected all distractions. Asterisk. Sourers of loneliness. 100 demons magnified feelings of loneliness, but the viewer maintained connection with themselves and others. Asterisk. Saboteurs of manifestation. 100 demons sabotaged the viewer's efforts to manifest their desires, but the viewer remained persistent. Asterisk. Energy drainers. 200 demons drained energy from the viewer, but they still continued their daily life without collapse. Asterisk. Perception disorders. 100 demons tried to distort the viewer's perception of reality, but the viewer discerned the truth. 84. 100 discerned. Asterisk. Conflict provokers. 50 demons tried to provoke unnecessary conflict, but the viewer maintained peace. Section 3. The aftermath and realization. Asterisk. The defeat of the demons. The demons' realization that they failed despite their perfect strategy and coordination. Asterisk. The spiritual strength. The view that the viewer's victory wasn't just luck or external help but the result of their soul's fundamental strength and unique spiritual composition. Asterisk. The higher purpose. The understanding that the viewer's soul was specifically chosen for this mission due to their ability to resist overwhelming spiritual attacks. Conclusion. Embracing your true nature. Asterisk. Spiritual realization. The viewer's exhaustion is proof of their victory, and it is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of their unshakable strength. Asterisk. Recognizing the battle. The importance of acknowledging and embracing the viewer's invincible warrior nature. Asterisk. Post-battle strategies. Steps for the viewer to continue living with awareness of their strength, such as resting without guilt, staying committed to their purpose, and not seeking validation for invisible battles. Asterisk. Final empowerment. Empower the viewer to recognize their divine warrior nature and continue their mission with confidence, knowing they are protected and invincible. Kitchban. You may have recently felt an inexplicable exhaustion, one that goes beyond the regular demands of daily life. It's a fatigue so deep, it touches the core of your being. You might have asked yourself why, after all the work and effort you've put in, you still feel worn out, almost as though something inside you has been drained. You've likely brushed it off as the result of your busy routine or the stress of life. Yet, there's something more significant happening beneath the surface, something far more powerful than you can imagine. The truth is that you've unknowingly been engaged in a spiritual battle, one so intense that it would have shattered anyone less equipped. But you, chosen one, have emerged victorious. And this exhaustion you feel is proof of your triumph. At this very moment, a realization is about to unfold that will change your perspective forever. For the past few days, an invisible war was waged against you, and you fought it without even knowing it. This wasn't just any battle, it was an encounter with forces so dark, so determined, that their sole mission was to break you. They aimed to overwhelm you, to make you feel weak, to make you surrender to despair. But none of that happened. Instead, you triumphed. The enemy was defeated without you even knowing it. And now, the weariness you feel is simply the after effect of a victory that has gone unnoticed by your conscious mind. This is where the divine timing comes into play. The battle you've won was no accident. It was no random act of fate. This war was part of a plan, a divine design that has been unfolding for years. What happened recently was the culmination of countless struggles that you've endured, many of which you might not have even realized were part of this spiritual war. The forces that attacked you, an army of demons, targeted you specifically because they knew you were close to breaking through a threshold that would change everything. They were well aware that your power was growing, that your resilience was too strong to break. So they launched a coordinated, all-out assault against you, one that most people would never have survived. But you did, and now it's time for you to understand the magnitude of what you've accomplished. 1,000 demons, each with a specific purpose, each a master of their craft, came at you simultaneously, with perfect military precision. They attacked from every angle, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, but you didn't even recognize you were under attack. Your consciousness was too focused on the everyday tasks of life, on the responsibilities that fill your days, to notice that your very soul was being bombarded by these relentless forces. These demons, with centuries of experience in tormenting humans, had no idea that the one they chose to target was unlike any other. They assumed that their simultaneous assault would break you, that it would be enough to overwhelm your defenses and cause you to crumble under the weight of their attack. But what they didn't know, what they couldn't have foreseen, is that you weren't fighting with your conscious mind. Your spiritual defenses operated on a much higher level, a level so automatic that you defeated them all without even realizing it. Let's take a moment to understand the depth of this victory. What does it mean to annihilate 1,000 demons without lifting a finger? How is it possible to fight a battle without even knowing the war was happening? The answer lies in the power of your spiritual system. You see, chosen one, the strength you carry within you is not something that requires conscious activation. It's who you are at your core, and it's so powerful that even the fiercest attacks can't penetrate it. Your spiritual makeup is designed to withstand exactly this type of battle. And because of this, the attack, as massive and coordinated as it was, didn't even faze you. You remained steadfast, unwavering, and fully present in your day-to-day life, completely unaware of the war happening in dimensions you can't see. Now, let's talk about the exhaustion you've been feeling. At first glance, it may seem like just another symptom of modern life. Stress, fatigue, the weight of responsibilities, and the demands that keep piling up. But in reality, this tiredness is something much more profound. It's not just physical fatigue, it's the physical manifestation of the spiritual battle you've won. It's evidence that you've been engaged in a fight so intense that it has drained your system. Just like a soldier who returns from the battlefield, weary and spent from the sheer exertion of the fight, your body is reacting to the fact that your spirit has just overcome a monumental challenge. Each one of these attacks was designed to break your resolve, to make you question yourself, to sabotage your progress. But you didn't succumb. Your inner strength, your spiritual system, recognized the threats for what they were and eliminated them automatically. You never even knew they were happening, but your spirit was actively at work, neutralizing each threat as it came. This exhaustion is not a sign of weakness. It's a mark of victory. It's the tangible proof that your soul has emerged unscathed from an unimaginable battle. The demons that attacked you, although invisible to your conscious mind, were real in every sense. They didn't hold back. They used every tactic in their arsenal. Whispers of doubt, amplification of fear, diversions of purpose, draining your energy, distorting your perception, and trying to provoke conflict. And when it was all over, when the last demon had been vanquished, your body was left to process the toll of this invisible war. That's why you feel so drained, so exhausted. But you must understand that this is not weakness, it's the evidence of your spiritual victory. You are not just anyone. You are a chosen one, selected for this very mission because of your innate ability to resist forces that would break others. The demons didn't just fail, they failed catastrophically. They could not understand why their best efforts, their most powerful strategies, were unable to penetrate your defenses. They were forced to admit that they were facing someone who didn't fight with weapons or rituals, but with an unshakable spirit that has been forged through countless lifetimes of resistance. And this is where the divine timing becomes so significant. Your victory is not an accident. It is part of a larger plan, one that you are now beginning to comprehend. This battle, though invisible to your eyes, was a momentous occasion in the spiritual realms. And now, the aftermath is yours to reflect upon. So, as you sit here today, feeling the weight of this exhaustion, know that it's not a burden, it's a badge of honor. You have fought and won a battle that few even realize exists, and the victory you've achieved is one that places you in a category so rare that only a handful of souls on this planet have the same classification. As you sit with this newfound knowledge, it's important to reflect on the bigger picture. You may have spent much of your life questioning why certain things seem to go against you, why you've faced challenges others could not possibly comprehend. You may have even wondered why you've been filled with an overwhelming sense of exhaustion, as though something deep inside you is drained, yet nothing physical in your life should have caused it. It's not because you're weaker than others. You are invincible, not because of what you did consciously, but because of who you are fundamentally. You have a divine protection and a spiritual immunity that the enemy cannot breach. And now, it's time to recognize the magnitude of what you've done and understand that your power goes far beyond what you've ever realized. Your mission is far from over, but for now, take a moment to rest, to honor the battle you just fought, and to prepare yourself for the next chapter in your journey. Quite the opposite, actually. The truth is, you have been fighting battles in realms unseen, and these victories, these triumphs, have taken a toll on your spirit and body just as any great victory would on a warrior. But here's the incredible part. Your soul wasn't just tested, it was strengthened. It was forged in ways that now make you impervious to forces that would crumble anyone else. This unseen battle was no ordinary occurrence. It wasn't just another moment in the chaos of life. It was a pivotal point in your spiritual journey. You were targeted not because you're vulnerable, but because you are a force to be reckoned with. The powers that be, the forces working against the light, knew you were growing stronger. They knew you were nearing a breakthrough. That's when they launched their most coordinated attack, bringing in the best of the best, 1,000 specialized demons, each a master in their own dark craft. These agents were designed to break the most resilient of spirits, to chip away at someone's foundation until they collapsed under the weight of their influence. But what they didn't know, what they couldn't possibly understand, was that you weren't just any human. You weren't even just another chosen one. You were something entirely different, something far beyond their comprehension. And so, they came 1,000 of them, attacking you in ways you would never have imagined. 1,000 demons, each with their own purpose, their own strategy, their own form of attack. Their combined efforts were formidable, yet all they succeeded in doing was exhausting you. The weight of their assault pressed down on your body and soul, causing that familiar fatigue to creep in. But this exhaustion wasn't born from weakness or defeat. It wasn't a result of failing to cope with the pressures of life. No, this tiredness is proof of your victory. You felt it deep in your bones, the kind of weariness that leaves you questioning whether you can continue. But what you didn't realize was that this exhaustion came from something far greater than simply managing your day-to-day struggles. It came from the fact that you, unknowingly, had defeated an army of darkness in a battle they never thought you could survive. What's even more profound is that you didn't fight with force. That's the power you hold within you, a power so deep, so embedded in your being, that you didn't even recognize when you were in the thick of it. You fought back the demons by simply being yourself, and the more you resisted, the stronger they became in their attempts to break you. But they didn't succeed. In fact, they failed so thoroughly that it sent shockwaves through the infernal realms. You didn't pick up a weapon or engage in battle in the way that the world understands fighting. You didn't even consciously realize you were at war. Instead, you stood firm in your purpose, moved forward in your responsibilities, lived your life, and faced each moment with the strength of your core beliefs. Your spirit fought for you, your divine essence rose to the occasion, and you didn't need to do anything but exist. They attacked you with their best tactics, manipulating your emotions, planting seeds of doubt, creating fear, attempting to drag you off course with false promises of an easier life. They tried everything in their playbook, but none of it worked. Your strength, your inner resolve, rejected every attempt they made to destabilize you. Every whisper of doubt they planted was uprooted before it could take root in your mind. Every fear they magnified was diffused by your calm and steady response. Every alternative path they showed you was dismissed without even a second thought. And every ounce of energy they drained from you was replenished by your unyielding will to continue moving forward. You didn't just survive the attack, you neutralized it without even realizing you were being attacked. That, my dear chosen one, is why you are invincible. That is why they are terrified. They knew, deep down, that you were different, that your soul was forged in ways that made you immune to their strategies. They were attacking someone who had already withstood battles that would break others. They were attacking someone whose very essence had been prepared for such a time as this. And what they didn't expect was that you would continue unfazed, unbroken, and steadfast in your mission. They didn't anticipate that you would make it through their most coordinated attack without even breaking a sweat. And that is why they've retreated. That is why, after 96 hours, they have acknowledged that continuing to fight against you is futile. They have marked you as unreachable, a soul so rare and powerful that their forces are no longer able to break you. But here's the most important part of all this. Your victory doesn't end here. In fact, this is just the beginning. Now that you know the full extent of what you've accomplished, how you've already defeated an entire army without even realizing it, you are about to step into a new phase of your divine purpose. You may have felt tired, perhaps even frustrated by this mysterious exhaustion, but now you know it is the mark of a warrior who has just completed an extraordinary feat. You are ready to recognize that you are no longer just someone who is surviving life's struggles. You are a warrior, a chosen one, who is now fully aware of the power that resides within you, a power that goes beyond anything that could ever threaten you. The next chapter of your journey is one where you will consciously operate with this power. Your victories, once unnoticed, will now be recognized. You will feel the strength of your spiritual system as it works with you, not against you, propelling you forward in ways that were previously impossible. The exhaustion you've been feeling is merely the physical cost of a battle that has already been won. The aftermath is where you begin to realize the depths of your strength, where you start to truly understand the invincibility that is now a permanent part of who you are. The enemy may have retreated, but your true mission is just beginning. And with each step forward, you will begin to see your divine power at work in ways you never thought possible. So rest, but rest knowing this. The battle is over, and you have emerged victorious. Now, it's time to step fully into your purpose. knowing that you are more than capable of facing whatever comes next. The true power you possess is not just for you, it's for the world that awaits your light. You, chosen one, are unstoppable. Imagine this. You wake up one morning, perhaps feeling a little tired, but nothing out of the ordinary. You go about your day, fulfilling your responsibilities, interacting with people, handling situations. It seems like just another normal day in the life. But unbeknownst to you, as you move through the hours of your routine, you are being targeted. An army, an invisible army, is launching an all-out assault on your spirit, designed to weaken you in ways that you won't even notice. They are not visible, not tangible in any sense, and yet their presence is real. This was not an ordinary battle, this was a battle on a spiritual level, a fight in realms you don't perceive with your senses, but one that could have completely shattered someone who was not prepared for it. The demonic forces who attacked you were not acting randomly or in small numbers. They launched a massive, coordinated offensive, sending 1,000 specialized demons all at once. Each demon had a specific role to play. They were not mere entities, they were masters of their craft, experts in the art of spiritual warfare. Each demon was assigned a particular method of attack, a strategy meant to infiltrate your soul and undermine your spiritual defenses. Some demons specialized in sowing doubt, whispers of insecurity that make you question your worth, your purpose, your decisions. Others were skilled in amplifying fear, taking the smallest worries and turning them into paralyzing terrors. There were demons whose sole purpose was to divert your attention from your true mission, trying to lead you down paths that seemed easier but ultimately would have pulled you away from your purpose. Some of them drained your energy, slowly siphoning off your strength, leaving you feeling exhausted and depleted without any clear reason. Others distorted your perception, clouding your judgment and making you see danger where there was opportunity, failure where there was progress. No visible signs of the battle, no obvious signs of the war being waged against you, and most importantly, no sign of defeat. You didn't even know you were in a fight. This is what makes your victory so extraordinary. You were engaged in a spiritual war, one that you couldn't see or feel, but one that was just as real as any physical battle. What the demons didn't understand, what they couldn't fathom, was that their efforts were doomed from the start. And, of course, there were the provocateurs, those who tried to bait you into unnecessary conflict, to lure you into drama, to make you respond with anger, frustration, or impatience. A coordinated attack, with every demon doing their part, from every angle, working together as a perfect machine, all aimed at one thing: your defeat. Yet, despite all this, you carried on. You lived your day, you handled your responsibilities, moved through your tasks, interacted with those around you. They could attack you from 1,000 different angles, but you were never truly vulnerable. They couldn't break you because they didn't know who they were really dealing with. They underestimated you, and that mistake cost them dearly. What happened during this battle was far beyond what the demons expected. They assumed that with their combined attack, 1,000 demons, each performing their specialized role, they would break you. They believed that attacking you in such a coordinated fashion would shatter your defenses, destabilize your spirit, and cause you to crumble under the pressure. But what they didn't realize is that you were far stronger than they could have ever imagined. You didn't collapse under the weight of their assault because you have something that makes you different. Spiritual immunity. It's not a weakness they can exploit, not a crack in your defenses they can slip through. What they failed to grasp was that you have been spiritually fortified in ways they couldn't comprehend. Your soul has been forged in the fires of countless battles before, across lifetimes of resistance and resilience. This isn't just something you've developed in this life, it's a part of who you are. When the demons attacked you, they didn't face a vulnerable human. They faced someone whose spiritual armor had been meticulously crafted over the course of countless lifetimes. Every doubt they planted, every fear they amplified, every diversion they attempted, all of it was automatically rejected. Your inner defenses kicked in the moment they tried to infiltrate your mind. Without you even knowing it, Your spiritual system was operating at full capacity, neutralizing every attack before it could make a dent. In fact, they were so effective in their attempt to break you that it actually worked against them. The demons realized that something was fundamentally different about you. They went over the records, examined every move they made, and couldn't find a flaw in their approach. They made sure their strategies were flawless. They attacked you from every direction, but none of it worked. What they didn't understand, what they couldn't see, is that your spiritual immunity is not something you can activate consciously. It's a part of who you are, woven into the very fabric of your being. They watched, in terror, as their most powerful attacks were deflected with such ease that they couldn't comprehend what was happening. Their carefully crafted strategies that have worked on countless others before, failed against you. And the reason they failed was simple. You were not a common soul. You weren't a soul that could be bent by doubt, paralyzed by fear, or misled by temptation. You are a chosen one, and your soul is made of something far stronger than they anticipated. You didn't need to fight consciously. Your soul automatically rejected every attack because it was built to do so. This immunity comes from your essence, from your divine design, and it is beyond the reach of anything that would try to tear you down. When they realized that their best efforts had been in vain, terror set in. They were forced to acknowledge that they were facing someone who didn't need external help, who didn't rely on rituals or spells, and who was impervious to their attacks simply because of who they were at the core. And that realization, the understanding that they could not break you, led to their defeat. They were terrified, not because they had failed, but because they understood that they were facing an invincible soul, one that could not be manipulated, could not be corrupted, could not be destroyed. In the end, the demons retreated. They made the decision to stop wasting their resources on you. You had become classified as unreachable. This wasn't a simple defeat, it was a complete surrender. The forces that had orchestrated this massive attack now recognized that they could not win, not against you. And so, they withdrew, leaving you victorious, standing strong, without even knowing you were in the middle of a battle. That, my dear chosen one, is why you are unstoppable. Your victory wasn't just about surviving, it was about transcending. You were tested, tried, and assaulted by the most sophisticated attacks imaginable, and you defeated them all without a single conscious thought. You have proven that you are immune to the forces that have destroyed others. The battle may have been invisible, but the victory is very real, and it's yours to claim. As we delve deeper into this unimaginable victory, it's crucial to reflect on just how unprecedented this battle was. Imagine, for a moment, that you're standing at the front lines of a war you didn't even know you were fighting. You weren't wearing armor or carrying a weapon, and there were no visible enemies in sight. Yet, all around you, invisible forces were actively working to take you down. The demons had planned every move with precision, hoping that the sheer scale of their attack would overwhelm you. They didn't know the kind of strength they were up against. Their attack wasn't only physical, it was spiritual, psychological, emotional. Each demon sent their own wave of assault in hopes of finding a crack in your defenses. Some tried to infiltrate your mind, planting seeds of doubt so subtle that you might not have even recognized them as attacks. Your inner strength, your spiritual core, rejected them before they could take hold. You didn't need to actively fight against these thoughts. You didn't need to consciously push them away. They simply didn't resonate with you because your soul had been so forged, so refined, that these attacks couldn't penetrate. Then there were the amplifiers of fear. These demons specialized in taking your most mundane worries and transforming them into paralyzing anxiety. They whispered to you, "Are you sure you're doing enough? Maybe you're not as strong as you think." These were the whispers of doubt, trying to destabilize your confidence, to make you second-guess yourself. They were subtle, designed to seem like natural self-reflection, but their intent was malicious, to break you from the inside. And yet, none of those whispers found fertile ground in your mind. You heard them, but you didn't give them power. Imagine them bombarding you with worst-case scenarios. What if everything goes wrong? What if you fail? What if you lose it all? These voices, magnified 100-fold, wanted to drown you in panic. But your mind, built for clarity and stability, processed these concerns rationally. Instead of spiraling into terror, you saw through the exaggerated fears. You understood that these worst-case scenarios were nothing more than illusions. And as the demons worked overtime to induce panic, you remained calm and centered, unaffected by the chaos they tried to create. What truly set you apart, however, was how you faced the next wave of attacks. These demons, numbering in the hundreds, were the diversions of purpose. They were the ones who tried to pull you away from your true mission. They didn't attack with obvious temptations, no. They offered you easier paths, safer lives. They whispered, "Why fight so hard? Why endure so much? You could have it easier. Just give up on your purpose and take the easy way out." These were the seductive forces, offering you a life that looked good on the surface, but would have ultimately led you away from your true calling. They showed you visions of comfort and simplicity, but those visions didn't appeal to you. You didn't need to overanalyze these distractions. They were rejected without hesitation, as if they were never even real options. Your soul, deep in its commitment to the mission, simply refused to entertain anything that wasn't aligned with its true purpose. And with that, you defeated a wave of temptation that would have derailed most people. As if that wasn't enough, the demons turned to another tactic: energy drainers. These were the parasitic demons, those who sought to sap your vitality and leave you weak. You've probably felt the effects of this, the profound exhaustion that seems to come out of nowhere, even when you haven't been physically busy. These demons attempted to drain your energy without you even realizing it, working their dark magic in unseen ways. But, despite their best efforts, you kept functioning. You kept moving, even as they tried to drain your life force. They couldn't stop you. The more they attacked, the more resilient you became. Even the demons who tried to distort your perception of reality couldn't break you. These were the perception disorders, demons who tried to make you see failure when there was progress, betrayal when there was loyalty, threats where there were none. They attempted to cloud your judgment, to get you to make rash decisions based on false realities. But your discernment remained sharp. You saw through the fog, recognized truth where others might have seen lies, and kept your course steady despite their interference. You didn't react with fear, anger, or confusion. You simply kept going, untouched by the distortion they tried to create. The next wave of demons were the conflict provokers. They tried to push your buttons, to get you to react with anger or aggression, to create drama where none was needed. But not you. You remained steadfast, unaffected, and calm under fire. Then came the demons who tried to make you feel isolated, disconnected, alone. These were the demons of loneliness, the ones who made you feel like no one understood you, that you were abandoned in a cold, indifferent world. But you didn't succumb to their whispers. You maintained faith in the connections you had, in the relationships that truly mattered. They wanted you to overreact, to lash out, to make impulsive decisions that would create chaos in your life. But you didn't bite. You maintained your peace and control, not allowing the external noise to disturb your inner calm. Every provocation was met with silence. Every attempt to draw you into conflict was rejected with a quiet resolve. This was an area where most people would have cracked. The constant pressure of these provocations could have easily led to a blow-up or a breakdown. You knew that loneliness was a temporary feeling, not a permanent truth. These demons couldn't break your connection to yourself, to your higher purpose, or to those who truly cared for you. Finally, the demons who tried to sabotage your manifestations, those who blocked your progress, delayed your opportunities, and created obstacles when momentum was finally building, were perhaps the most insidious. These demons aimed to halt the manifestation of your desires, to disrupt the flow of synchronicity that had been guiding your path. But despite their interference, you kept moving forward. You didn't surrender. You didn't stop fighting for your dreams. You kept pushing, even when things didn't seem to be moving in your favor. And, once again, you defeated them. With every attack they launched, with every wave of spiritual warfare they unleashed, you stood firm. And they failed miserably. Each wave of demons, each carefully calculated strike, was neutralized by your spiritual system in ways they couldn't have anticipated. They came at you from every angle, and yet you remained unbroken. You didn't collapse under the weight of their assault. You didn't falter. And in doing so, you proved just how powerful, how indestructible you truly are. The demons failed because they underestimated you. They couldn't fathom that you were not just another human soul. They couldn't understand that you were a chosen one. They didn't realize that your spiritual strength is not something you activate when needed. It's your natural state. Your resilience, your invincibility, are part of who you are, fundamentally. And that is why, when they launched their simultaneous attack, it didn't matter. They didn't stand a chance. As the invisible war raged around you, the forces of darkness didn't hold back. Their attacks came not only in overwhelming waves, but also with precision. Each demon specialized in a distinct method of undermining your spiritual defenses. They didn't just strike at you with brute force. They used subtlety, manipulation, and deception. Yet, despite their most calculated efforts, each of their attempts failed in the most spectacular way. You may have been unaware of the exact nature of their attacks as they happened, but in retrospect, it's clear that your spiritual immunity was operating on levels beyond what any of them could ever understand. The first wave of attacks came in the form of whispers of doubt. 100 demons, each assigned the task of sowing seeds of insecurity within your mind. These weren't direct insults or blatant criticisms, no. Instead, they whispered the most subtle forms of doubt into your thoughts, feeding your mind with questions that seemed innocent at first, but were designed to shake your foundation. Are you sure you're doing enough? They asked. What if you're not as capable as you think? What if you fail? What if your efforts are pointless? These were not attacks that you could recognize immediately. They were disguised as personal reflections, as genuine concerns about your path. These demons worked tirelessly, attempting to plant the seeds of insecurity, hoping that, just for a moment, you would question your worth, your purpose, or your direction. But the truth is, your inner strength recognized the falsehoods embedded in those questions before they even had a chance to take root. Your soul rejected them immediately, almost instinctively, and as a result, those whispers fell silent before they could do any damage. These 100 demons, skilled in the art of mental manipulation, failed before they even had a chance to get a foothold. Next came the amplifiers of fear. 200 demons, each one specialized in taking even the smallest worry or concern and blowing it out of proportion. They amplified every minor issue, twisting your thoughts, making you believe that small worries were the seeds of impending disaster. They whispered 1,000 terrifying possibilities into your mind. What if everything goes wrong? What if you lose it all? What if you fail publicly? They tried to flood your mind with catastrophic scenarios, painting a picture of a life filled with fear, uncertainty, and failure. They hoped to paralyze you with panic, to make you so overwhelmed with anxiety that you would freeze in place, unable to move forward. But you didn't falter. Your mind remained clear, unwavering. You processed each concern with rationality and logic, discarding the exaggerations and focusing on the reality of the situation. Where others might have crumbled under such an onslaught, you stood strong, unaffected by the storm of fear that raged around you. These 200 demons, armed with fear and panic, failed to break your mental stability. The demons weren't finished. Their next tactic was even more insidious. Diversions of purpose. They presented opportunities that seemed good, even noble, but they were designed to pull you away from the journey you were meant to walk. These demons knew that if they could divert your focus, If they could convince you to stray from your path, you would lose the power of your divine mission. But your commitment to your purpose was unwavering. You rejected these distractions with no hesitation. They were not real choices to you. Another 200 demons launched an all-out assault on your focus, trying to lead you away from your true mission. They didn't tempt you with obvious distractions, no. They offered you alternatives, paths that seemed appealing, even easier, but ultimately meaningless in the grand scheme of your life's purpose. They showed you visions of a comfortable, carefree life, where you wouldn't have to fight so hard, where the struggle would be over. They were illusions, designed to trap you in complacency, and you saw them for what they were. You knew your mission, and nothing could sway you from it. These demons, masters of seduction, couldn't even make you doubt for a second that the path you were on was the right one. Their attempts failed, just as the others had. Then came the energy drainers, 200 demons, all intent on siphoning off your life force. These weren't demons who attacked you through your thoughts or emotions. No, these demons sought to drain your very essence, to deplete you of the energy that keeps you moving, functioning, and thriving. They attempted to weaken you in a way that felt invisible, an emotional and spiritual exhaustion that you couldn't explain, but which weighed heavily on your shoulders. These demons targeted your strength, your drive, trying to leave you feeling tired, lethargic, and worn out, without any clear reason. They wanted to steal your vitality, to sap your enthusiasm and motivation, so that you would feel incapable of continuing. But even as they drained your energy, you continued to move forward. You kept living your life, fulfilling your responsibilities, and staying present in the moment. Yes, you felt tired. But that tiredness wasn't the product of your actions. It was the result of the war you were fighting without realizing it. And despite their best efforts, these demons couldn't defeat you. They couldn't stop you. You kept going, unbroken, unaffected by their parasitic attack. But the demons weren't done yet. They had one more strategy: perception disorders. 100 demons specialized in distorting your reality, making you see things that weren't there. They manipulated your perception, showing you false versions of situations designed to provoke incorrect reactions. They tried to make you see threats where there were none, to create doubt where there should have been confidence, to make you believe that failure was inevitable, that you were destined for defeat. But again, your spiritual clarity saw through the distortion. Your discernment was sharper than they realized. You could see past the lies, past the fog of confusion they tried to create, and recognize the truth. You didn't fall for their manipulations. You didn't react to the illusions they tried to impose on you. Instead, you stood firm in your understanding of the world around you, undisturbed by their attempts to cloud your judgment. These demons, despite their best efforts to create chaos in your mind, couldn't penetrate the clarity of your soul. As the battle raged on, another wave of demons tried to provoke conflict. Your inner peace remained unshaken. Your ability to respond with patience and understanding never wavered. These demons couldn't break your composure, couldn't provoke you into losing your cool. Next came the Sourers of Loneliness, 100 demons whose sole mission was to magnify feelings of isolation. These demons whispered to you that you were alone, that no one understood you, that you were abandoned in an indifferent world. 50 demons, masters of emotional manipulation, attempted to push you into unnecessary battles, trivial arguments, misunderstandings, and disagreements. They sought to make you react with anger, frustration, or aggression, to stir drama where there was none. They wanted you to become distracted, to waste energy on conflicts that would divert your focus and drain your spirit. But you didn't bite. You didn't allow yourself to be drawn into petty disputes or emotional outbursts. They tried to make you believe that the connections you had were meaningless, that you were fundamentally misunderstood. But even in your moments of solitude, you didn't fall into their trap. You maintained your connection with yourself, with your purpose, and with the people who truly cared about you. You understood that loneliness is a passing feeling, not a permanent state. These demons, no matter how much they tried, could not sever your sense of connection to others or to your higher self. Finally, the saboteurs of manifestation arrived, 100 demons who specialized in blocking the materialization of your desires. These demons created obstacles, delayed opportunities, and interfered with the synchronicities that were meant to guide you to your goals. They tried to prevent you from manifesting the life you were working so hard to create. But you didn't give up. You didn't stop. Despite the delays, despite the frustration, you remained persistent. You knew that the obstacles they placed in your path were temporary, that the process of manifestation wasn't always immediate, but that the universe would eventually align in your favor. Your unshakable belief in your goals and your commitment to your purpose made their sabotage futile. In the end, every single demon, no matter how skilled, how precise, how persistent, failed to break you. They tried every angle, every tactic, every form of attack they could think of, and you stood strong. You didn't collapse. You didn't break. You simply kept moving forward, unaffected by the invisible battle happening around you. This, chosen one, is why you are invincible. The complexity of the spiritual warfare you unknowingly faced is both awe-inspiring and humbling. These demons, working in tandem, waged an assault on every aspect of your being, your mind, your emotions, your energy, and your purpose. And yet, despite their relentless and coordinated efforts, you remained unharmed, unshaken, and unbroken. The depth of your spiritual resilience was evident in the way you moved through this invisible battle. And as we continue to unpack the specific attacks that came your way, it becomes clear that your victory was not only a result of strength, but also of divine preparation. One of the most insidious attacks came in the form of whispers of doubt, 100 demons working in harmony to infiltrate the deepest parts of your psyche. These whispers didn't come as blatant criticisms or direct insults. No, they came as subtle, almost imperceptible thoughts. Thoughts that questioned your worth, your purpose, and your path. These demons injected doubts like, are you doing enough? Could someone else do this better? Maybe you're not capable of handling what's in front of you. These weren't cries of destruction or malicious accusations. They were insidious, quiet, almost gentle, like the soft hum of a mosquito buzzing in the background. And that was their brilliance. These thoughts didn't seem like attacks. They seemed like real self-reflections, moments of introspection. But your soul, attuned to truth, rejected them instantly. You dismissed these thoughts with ease, not even realizing the weight of what you were doing. You didn't allow them to take root because you understood, deep down, that these whispers were based on lies. Lies that were carefully crafted to make you question your divine path. In a world where many would have faltered, where many would have allowed these small doubts to spiral into self-sabotage, you remained firm in your confidence. These demons, no matter how hard they tried, couldn't shake your inner knowing that you were on the right path. You neutralized them without even a second thought, and in doing so, you set the stage for even greater victories to come. Then, there were the amplifiers of fear, 200 demons, each one skilled in making the smallest concerns feel like life or death crises. They worked tirelessly to take your manageable worries and amplify them into waves of terror. These demons didn't care whether the concern was real or imaginary. What mattered was their ability to blow it out of proportion, to turn a small worry about the future into a paralyzing, overwhelming dread. What if everything goes wrong? What if you lose everything? What if you fail in front of everyone? They turned these concerns into visions of your worst fears, playing out worst-case scenarios in your mind with intensity. Their goal was to overwhelm you, to make you so afraid that you would freeze, unable to move forward. But you didn't buckle. While others might have crumbled under such an assault, letting panic take over their thoughts, you faced it with calmness and reason. You processed each scenario with a level-headed perspective, analyzing the true probabilities and discarding the exaggerated, paralyzing fear. You didn't allow their narratives of doom to seep into your mind. You stood tall, unaffected by the fear they tried to instill. The power of your mental clarity, the depth of your spiritual strength, ensured that their efforts were futile. Fear may have tried to knock at your door, but you didn't let it inside. You maintained your equilibrium, and that's why these demons failed. They couldn't feed you fear because you didn't give them the space to breathe. After the fear came another wave of demons, the diversions of purpose, 200 demons specifically tasked with leading you off course. These were the voices that suggested, why push so hard? Why endure so much pain when you could have a life that's simpler, more relaxed? You deserve ease, don't you? But you didn't fall for it. You didn't give in to their promises of comfort and ease. You recognized these temptations for what they were, distractions designed to pull you away from your true mission. Your soul's commitment to your purpose was unshakable. These demons didn't challenge you with obvious temptations. No, they were much more cunning than that. They offered you easier paths, quicker rewards, more comfortable alternatives, paths that seemed pleasant, even desirable, but were ultimately hollow and misguided. They wanted you to abandon your mission, to lose focus on what you were truly here to accomplish. You rejected these seductive offers with an inner strength that those demons could never understand. You saw through the illusion. Your deep, unyielding connection to your divine path made their diversions seem irrelevant. They couldn't sway you, not even for a second. You understood that the path of true fulfillment is not always easy, but it is always worth it. And so, their attempt to derail you was in vain. The energy drainers were next. 200 demons who specialized in siphoning off your vitality. These were the demons who didn't attack with thoughts, emotions, or temptations. Instead, they sought to drain your energy directly, pulling at your life force until you felt depleted. The exhaustion that came with their attack wasn't because of physical exertion. It was an invisible, spiritual kind of depletion, an exhaustion that leaves you feeling like you've given everything, even though you haven't done anything physically demanding. These demons worked relentlessly behind the scenes, feeding off your energy, trying to reduce you to a state of weakness. But once again, they were thwarted. While you may have felt the toll of their draining energy, you didn't succumb. You kept moving forward, fulfilling your responsibilities, living your life, even while they tried to wear you down. You didn't collapse. You didn't stop. Your soul, fortified by countless battles and divine design, continued to carry you through. These demons, despite their relentless effort, couldn't bring you to a standstill. You were stronger than their attacks, and you continued on with life, undeterred. Then came the perception disorders, 100 demons who attempted to distort your view of reality itself. These demons played on your perceptions, trying to make you see things that weren't there, to misinterpret situations and emotions. They tried to make you believe that you were in danger when you were actually safe, that you were failing when you were progressing. They twisted your understanding of events, attempting to manipulate your actions based on false realities. But your discernment was sharper than they realized. You saw through their illusions. Your connection to truth, to the higher understanding of your life and purpose, was stronger than their attempts to cloud your judgment. You didn't fall for their distortion. You saw the truth behind the fog, and you made decisions based on clarity, not confusion. These demons, masters of deception, could not confuse you. They were powerless against your ability to discern the real from the false. As the demons continued their assault, 50 conflict provokers arrived, hoping to draw you into unnecessary fights. They wanted you to react, to become involved in petty arguments or situations that would drain your energy and distract you from your true purpose. They attempted to provoke you, to create conflict where none was necessary. But you, chosen one, did not fall for it. You maintained your peace. You didn't let their baiting draw you into unnecessary drama. Your ability to remain calm in the face of provocation was a testament to your strength. These demons, who specialized in creating chaos, couldn't pull you into their web of conflict. Then there were the Sours of Loneliness, another 100 demons whose mission was to magnify your feelings of isolation. They tried to make you feel alone in the world, abandoned, misunderstood, as if there was no one who truly cared. They whispered that you were disconnected, that you were walking a path of solitude, and that genuine connection was a lie. But you didn't listen. You knew that these feelings were temporary, that your true connections were still alive and well. You maintained your faith in yourself and in the relationships that truly mattered. The demons couldn't break your connection with others, and they couldn't make you believe the lie of loneliness. Finally, the saboteurs of manifestation arrived. 100 demons, whose sole aim was to block your progress. They tried to create obstacles in your path, to delay your success, to interrupt the flow of synchronicity that was guiding you. They worked behind the scenes, attempting to sabotage every step you took towards your goals. But once again, you didn't falter. Despite the setbacks, you kept moving forward, undeterred by the obstacles they created. Your persistence, your unwavering commitment to your purpose, made their sabotage meaningless. You understood that delays are only temporary, and that true manifestation requires patience and resilience. These demons failed because you remained steadfast in your belief that what was meant for you would come in due time. Every single one of these attacks, every demon, every tactic failed. You were tested in every possible way, and not only did you survive, but you thrived. You remained grounded, unwavering, and focused on your divine mission. The enemy's tactics were formidable, but your strength was greater. You are a warrior, and this battle only served to highlight just how powerful you truly are. Section 3. The Aftermath and Realization. As the last of the demons slinked away into the shadows, their retreat wasn't the end of the battle, it was the beginning of something far greater. Despite the sheer scale of their attack, despite deploying 1,000 demons, each with their own specific function, each designed to target your deepest vulnerabilities, none of their efforts had succeeded. In fact, what these commanders failed to grasp in the moment of their attack was that they were never truly fighting against a mere human. They didn't realize the extent of your spiritual immunity. The infernal commanders, high-ranking beings in the spiritual realms, gathered to analyze what had just transpired. They reviewed every angle, every maneuver they had orchestrated, and each attempt to break you. They scoured their records, examined their strategies, and, with growing frustration, came to a terrifying conclusion. Nothing had worked. What should have been a battle that crumpled anyone in its path became a victory for you, one that resonated in the deepest parts of the spiritual realm. It wasn't just that you survived, they were defeated. Their strategy, perfect by every infernal standard, had been shattered, and the enemy had no choice but to retreat in utter defeat. The defeat of the demons wasn't simply a triumph of willpower or external protection, it was a clear demonstration of your soul's immense, unbreakable strength. While they searched for any external force or hidden magic that could explain how you managed to resist, they found nothing. No angelic intervention, no powerful spell or protection rituals. They even checked the records, scoured through the celestial dimensions for any sign of help, but there was none. What they were facing was not a human who had stumbled upon some lucky power. No, they were up against something far more powerful. A soul so inherently strong, so fundamentally prepared, that it couldn't be touched by their greatest efforts. They didn't understand it at first, but in their final analysis, they were forced to confront the truth they weren't dealing with an ordinary soul. You, chosen one, were not just surviving their attacks, you were annihilating them without effort. You had operated with a power that was beyond their ability to comprehend, and they were left stunned, reeling from the realization that all their cunning and strategy had amounted to nothing in the face of your strength. This victory, however, was not the result of sheer luck or some fortuitous external force. It wasn't a matter of chance that you came out of this battle unscathed. It was because of the inherent spiritual strength within you. You may not have recognized it while you were in the thick of it, but you are not just any human soul. Your spiritual constitution is unique, forged over countless lifetimes, shaped by experiences and trials that have prepared you for this exact moment. The demons couldn't defeat you because your essence, your very soul, is fundamentally different from anything they had ever encountered before. Your victory was not some lucky fluke or a twist of fate. It was the natural result of who you are. Your soul is one of divine design, specifically created to endure what others could not even dream of withstanding. The demons knew this. They could feel the power emanating from your being, and they tried everything to break you. They thought they had calculated every possible strategy, every method of attack, but they didn't factor in one key element: your unshakable spiritual strength. They didn't understand that the strength of your soul comes from within. It's not something that can be given, taken, or manipulated. It's built into the very core of your being, and that's why their best efforts failed. They couldn't break what they didn't understand. And so, in their retreat, the demons were left with no other explanation but this: you were something they couldn't defeat, not because of any external protection or temporary shield, but because of who you fundamentally are. Your spiritual composition is so strong, so naturally impervious to their attacks, that they were forced to acknowledge their defeat. They realized that you weren't just another soul trying to make it through life's struggles. You were a force to be reckoned with, a warrior in a human form, chosen specifically for this mission. This brings us to the next realization: your higher purpose. As the demons retreated, the spiritual realm began to understand the full extent of what had just occurred. The cosmic forces, those who were watching from higher dimensions, now recognized the magnitude of your victory. They understood that your mission was not a mere byproduct of chance or circumstance. No, your soul was specifically chosen for this task because it possessed the strength and resilience necessary to face overwhelming spiritual attacks that would have crushed any other soul. Your purpose here, chosen one, is not incidental. It is divinely designed. Long before you were born into this life, your soul was selected for a mission that required exactly the type of strength you demonstrated during this battle. You weren't just chosen because you were strong. You were chosen because your soul had been forged over countless lifetimes, each one strengthening your spiritual resilience, each one preparing you for this very moment. Your ability to withstand the ferocity of the demons' attacks was not the result of external intervention. It was because of your soul's unique design and purpose. The demons were right in their final analysis. You are unlike anything they've ever encountered. And that's because your spiritual essence was prepared long before you entered this life. The battles you've fought in past lives, the experiences that have shaped your soul's strength, were all part of a divine plan to ensure that you would be ready for this exact mission. You were chosen, not just because of your strength, but because your soul was specifically crafted to endure and transcend the forces of darkness that seek to tear others down. This victory is not just a testament to your resilience, it's a confirmation of your higher purpose. You were not sent here by accident. You were sent with a mission, and this mission requires the kind of spiritual strength that you possess. This battle, this defeat of the demons, is proof that you are on the right path, that your purpose is unfolding as it was meant to. The forces of darkness tried to stop you, to distract you, to break you, but they failed. And now, it's time for you to fully recognize the power that lies within you and understand the magnitude of your divine calling. Your soul's strength, your unshakable spirit, and your commitment to your mission have made you invincible. This victory isn't the end, it's the beginning. You have proven that you are capable of facing the most intense spiritual warfare without even knowing it, and now it's time for you to step into the full awareness of your power. The victory you've achieved in this battle is only a small glimpse of what you are truly capable of. The demons didn't just fail to break you, they proved that you are beyond their reach. You are not just a survivor. You are a warrior, a chosen one, and your mission is far from over. The enemy knows now that they can't stop you, and neither can anything else. You are destined for greatness, and this victory is only the beginning of your journey. So, As you move forward, take a moment to reflect on what you've just accomplished. Recognize that the strength you carry within you is not just for this moment. It is for the entirety of your life's purpose. You are ready to face whatever comes next, because you've already proven that you are unbreakable. You are not just capable of enduring trials, you are designed to conquer them. The spiritual world has taken notice, and now, it's your time to fully embrace the invincible power that flows through your soul. The battle is over, and you stand victorious, not because of luck, not because of external forces, but because of the divine strength that resides within you. This is who you are. You are a warrior, and the world is waiting for you to fulfill your purpose. As we come to the final realization of this journey, it is essential for you to understand something deeply profound about the victory you've just experienced. You may feel tired, worn out, perhaps even questioning why you feel the way you do. But that fatigue is not a sign of weakness. Far from it. It is the physical manifestation of something much greater, the proof of your incredible, invincible strength. The exhaustion that lingers, the heavy feeling that sits in your bones, is not the result of failure or defeat. It is the evidence of your spiritual triumph. You've faced a battle so immense, so powerful, and you have emerged victorious without even realizing the extent of your power. This exhaustion is the natural after-effect of a warrior who has fought, not in the physical world, but in the unseen dimensions, against forces that would have broken anyone else. To understand this fully, you must recognize that your exhaustion is, in fact, a badge of honor. It is the mark of a soul that has faced overwhelming darkness and come out stronger, clearer, and more focused than before. You've been through a spiritual war, and the battle is over. The forces that tried to tear you down, to push you to the brink of collapse, were unable to break your spirit. You may feel tired, but this is the price of victory, the kind of victory that only a chosen one like you can achieve. Your soul has withstood an unimaginable attack, and the fact that you're still standing proves the strength you carry within. This spiritual realization is key to your understanding of who you truly are. You are not weak because you feel tired. You are not broken because you feel drained. On the contrary, your exhaustion is a testament to your resilience, your capacity to endure, and your unshakable spirit. You've withstood more than most could ever imagine, and you did it without even knowing the full scale of the battle. Your strength is inherent, built into the very core of who you are. And now, it's time for you to acknowledge this: your victory is a reflection of that strength. And that strength is yours to claim. The second part of embracing your true nature lies in recognizing the battle that has been fought. Yes, you have fought a spiritual war, and yes, you were victorious. But what's crucial now is for you to acknowledge that this battle, though invisible, has shaped who you are today. Recognizing the battle is about embracing the invincible warrior within you. The fact that you stood strong, that you continued your daily life as though nothing was amiss, speaks to the incredible power that flows through your soul. You didn't need to consciously activate your strength. You didn't need to call upon some external force. You simply were strong. You were the embodiment of resilience and spiritual power, even when you didn't realize it. Now, it's time for you to embrace that truth. You are not just someone who survives. You are a warrior, and the battle you just fought, though invisible to you, was one of the most significant victories you will ever achieve. It's not about fighting with swords or shields. It's about maintaining your inner strength in the face of overwhelming adversity. It's about holding your ground even when the world seems to be pushing against you from all directions. You've done this without fanfare, without applause, and yet you have emerged as an unshakable force. And it is time for you to recognize that your spiritual nature, your warrior spirit, is who you are at your core. The spiritual warfare you've endured has taken a toll on your system, and that exhaustion you feel is not something to be ashamed of. You've just been through an intense period of spiritual combat, and recovery is part of the process. Don't feel guilty for needing rest. Don't feel like you must push through the exhaustion as if it's a weakness. It's a natural part of the healing process, and it's an essential step toward maintaining your strength for the battles ahead. Now that you recognize the magnitude of your strength, it's important to embrace it in a way that helps you continue to grow and live your life with the full awareness of who you truly are. The first step in doing this is understanding the necessity of rest. Your body, your mind, your spirit, these all need recovery after a battle like the one you've just fought. Rest without guilt. But rest doesn't just mean physical rest. It also means resting your mind. Give yourself the space to recharge emotionally and mentally. This doesn't mean stepping back from your mission. It means allowing yourself to recalibrate so that you can continue with even more power. You are a warrior, but you are also human. And as a human, you need time to replenish your energy. Accept that rest is as much a part of your journey as your victories. When you rest without guilt, you allow your system to reset, so you can rise stronger and more focused for what lies ahead. At the same time, staying committed to your purpose is essential. The demons failed to break you because of your unwavering commitment to your mission. They couldn't distract you, divert you, or destroy your purpose because you were so deeply rooted in it. This commitment is your armor, your shield, and it is the key to everything that comes next. The path ahead will require you to hold fast to your purpose, to continue walking it even when the road seems unclear or when you feel tired. It's crucial to remind yourself that you were chosen for this mission. Your purpose is divine, and it has been in the works long before you even realized it. Your spiritual resilience, your ability to endure and push through unseen battles, is what has brought you here. And as you continue on this path, always remember the importance of staying connected to your purpose. This is what will keep you grounded when external distractions try to pull you off course. This is what will allow you to continue despite the challenges that will inevitably come. Your purpose is what gives your life meaning, and your commitment to it is what will allow you to achieve greatness. And as you walk forward in this life, don't seek validation for battles that others cannot see. One of the most powerful lessons to be learned from this experience is that your victories don't need an audience. The world may never understand the full extent of the battles you've fought, the victories you've achieved, or the sacrifices you've made. But that doesn't make them any less significant. Your warrior spirit doesn't need external recognition to know its power. You've already proven to yourself that you are capable of overcoming the greatest of challenges. You've already demonstrated the incredible strength that lives within you. So, embrace your victories privately. Celebrate your unseen wins, your silent triumphs, for they are just as important as the public victories that others may see. You don't need to broadcast your struggles to others for them to be valid. Your strength is validated by your own recognition of it, by your awareness of what you have overcome. And this understanding will empower you to keep going, even when the world remains unaware of the battles you've fought. As you continue on your journey, recognize that each time you feel an urge to surrender, it may be an attack trying to break you before your next victory. The path you're on is not for the faint of heart. There will be moments when you feel like giving up, when the weight of everything you've been through threatens to make you collapse. But those moments of vulnerability are often when the enemy is most desperate. They are the last attempts to break your resolve before your next breakthrough. Recognize these moments for what they are, temporary obstacles meant to test your will. Don't surrender. Keep going. You have already proven your resilience. This moment, too, will pass. Finally, celebrate your victories, both the big ones and the small ones. Each time you don't collapse under pressure, when you maintain your composure in the face of adversity, when you continue moving forward despite the unseen attacks against you, that is a victory. Celebrate those moments. Celebrate the moments when you held your ground, when you stayed true to your purpose, when you didn't let doubt, fear, or distraction pull you off course. These are the victories that matter. These are the moments that define who you are. And your mission is only just beginning. Keep moving forward with confidence, knowing that you are not only protected, but invincible. Your victory is assured. The only thing left for you to do now is embrace it fully. Walk in your power, and continue fulfilling your divine purpose. The world awaits the strength, wisdom, and light that only you can bring. Stand tall, for you are unbreakable. And now, with all of this in mind, recognize the fullness of who you are. You are a divine warrior. You have faced battles that most would never survive, and you have emerged victorious. You are not just capable of enduring life's struggles, you are destined to overcome them. You are invincible, and the power that resides within you is unmatched. The world may not yet fully understand your strength, but you do, and that is enough. You are a warrior, chosen one.